the investment that India has done in Digital India has now paying off in a very big way. In fact, for example, in this whole COVID crisis, the entire DBT was possible only because of the public infrastructure that India has got. In the month of April alone, there were 400 million or 40 crore AEPS transactions used by 150 million people or 15 crore people to withdraw money from bank accounts, and that was possible seamlessly because of the digital infrastructure that India has built. So Digital India and METI have been at the center of the transformation happening in India. I have been asked to speak about the public-private partnership in e-governance, and let me talk about it. There are 4 dimensions of this I will talk about, which is government as an enabler of the technology, government as a customer, government as a platform provider, and government as a collaborator of solutions. So I think there are 4 different dimensions. Now, what METI has been, I would say, industry-focused organization in the government, and has always been working very closely with private sector to enable a better future for India. In fact, Debjani, who spoke before me, is the head of NASSCOM, and NASSCOM was started. In fact, when the first meeting happened of NASSCOM, we had Mr. S.S. Oberoi from DOE, which is the predecessor to METI, present in that. So a METI person was actually even present at the formation of the NASSCOM. So you can see the relationship from that time. And at that time also, the whole software technology park idea was driven by METI, DOE Secretary Mr. N. Vittal, which today the software technology park is the foundation of the dramatic growth in exports of India's software and BPO services, which is over $150 billion. And as you saw today, India actually has a current account surplus. So even though we have a trade deficit on the goods side, thanks to our invisibles, and a big chunk of the invisibles is our software export, we have a current account surplus. And that is really the strength of the software industry in generating hard currency for India to pay for imports of whether it's electronics or oil. But all this was only possible because of the supportive role played by METI. So I think at first we should recognize and acknowledge METI has been always a supporter, enabler, and well-wisher of the IT industry and the manufacturing industry, and has played a huge role where India is today. The second role of the government has been as a customer for technology. Here again, the National E-Governance Plan has many, many projects, and those projects, while they have been done by the government, the contracts have been given to the private sector, whether it is the Passport Seva Kendra, which is done by TCS or Infosys or whoever it is. And this is again has been a huge thing because we have been able to use the latest technology in all these states. For example, the GSTN technology is completely open source based. And similarly in the government, the Aadhaar technology is completely open source based. So I think when government as a customer has also led to a huge growth of projects. And this partnership has also led to some state-of-the-art technology at population scale getting rolled out. The third area which Ajayji spoke about is government as a platform provider. And that's where platforms like Aadhaar and UPI and DigiLocker come in. Also FASTag, which is the tag system for highway tolling, because these are all government-enabled systems that are used by the private sector. So example, private banks will use Aadhaar eKYC to open a bank account, or a private merchant will use UPI to get a cashless payment. A private company may store all its loan documents in DigiLocker. So our government as a platform provider is the third big role that we have today of government. And it is because of this that we are able to actually get a lot of things happening in the country, which is not obvious to everybody. Just this morning, I was talking to the CEO of one of India's largest private banks, and he said in the COVID crisis, when they had to all work from home without meeting customers, it was thanks to the digital public goods that we have of Aadhaar, eKYC, and UPI and all that the bank was able to deliver all its services. So again, the third role is platform provider. And the fourth role is the private sector in turn can be a collaborator and bring in talent and ideas into the system. And a great example of that is how under your leadership, you have created Arogya Setu application and launched it in a matter of weeks for the sake of the country. And that again was a government initiative, but you also had people from the private sector providing pro bono services to make it happen. So I think government and private sector in India has very, very multiple sets. Government as enabler, government as customer, government as platform provider, and government and private sector as collaborators. And it is because of this and because of the firm leadership given by Ravi Shankar Prasad ji and the Prime Minister himself taking a keen interest in technology that we have been able to reach this stage in our journey. Now, we have completed one part of the journey, but we have to continue with maintaining the global leadership in applying technology to governance. I think there are many, many areas. Number one, I think technology can be used for ease of doing business and allowing enterprise to flourish without any human interface using digital means. And there are many things happening like the whole account aggregator framework and all these things, and no requirement assessment being done without meeting an officer and so on. So there's a whole role in reducing human contact and doing automation in government services.